Regular town board meeting, Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, 6:30 PM. You would please silence your cell phones and please note there are two exits to the rear of the building and one to my right. You would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and take a moment to remember Judy Dixon, who passed away recently. Judy was a former director for the Youth at Heart Senior Center. Thank you. I'd also like to welcome Town of Sullivan Town Councilor Carrie Ranger and Bridgeport Lakeport Chamber President Terry Manning. Thanks for joining us tonight. Would anybody like to speak on behalf of any of the agenda items prior to the meeting? You have 3 minutes to speak.
Just push the, yeah.
That better? That work? All right. Mike Boyle, 5984 Hebrides Trail. I got the agenda here tonight. I just had a couple items I just need clarification on. On the abstract items, number 3, there's a $7,203 payment to CNS Engineers. That's payment number 2. Is there a payment number 3 coming?
I can't tell you that.
Okay, Ms. Fiorello.
We have 2 open contracts with CNS Engineers. So if it said payment number 2, it's probably for their construction inspections services that they are doing on the Route 11 streetscape project.
Is there going to be a third one?
Oh, I'm sure there'll
Okay.
probably be 4 and 5.
There's a painting and supervisor and controller's offices. Is this going out to bid?
There's a what?
Number 1029, painting supervisor and controller offices. What is the labor cost and will it be bid out?
Nope, won't be bid out. We're doing it in-house and actually I'm doing some of it.
Well, that's a good thing. All right. Agenda number 4, there's some budget modifications from the, looks like the highway salt. And it's moving over to miscellaneous safety, 6,000, 1,200 to security, and 3,000 to files internet. Did this come out of the highway salt area and is it going, where is the money going into? What area?
Dave, can you comment on that or no?
I know the one purchase is staying definitely with the safety one that is mixer for our traffic paint. I'm not 100% sure on the other 2. I apologize. I can't have phone in.
But are they staying in the highway department or are they going to another?
No,
No, they'd have to stay in the highway.
They stay in the highway.
That was my question.
Yeah,
They have to stay in the highway department.
Okay. Number 6, there's changes to a code related to zoning enforcement. What are the proposed changes? I don't see them in the minutes. And how do you expect the public to come to a meeting if we don't know what the changes are?
Well, all we're doing is setting a public hearing.
Okay, but I mean,
So the public hearing will be at the next meeting 2 weeks from now, and the proposed changes we post on the website prior. to
okay,
that.
I just want to make sure. Item number 7A and 7B, were these put out to bid?
These were not put out to bid. These were purchased. These will be purchased from a company who we currently use that match the other ones that we currently have. And the ones for number
That's 7A, right?
7B. Are you talking about 7B?
A and B.
7B will be purchased from a different company who has different signage, and then our highway will install them.
So it's not going out to bid. It's already in place. There's a contract already in place or?
There is no contract in place. You purchase these off the website, off their website.
Okay, number 7C, this is the one where they, approval for, where is it? Approval agreement between the town of Cicero and the North Syracuse Central School District for the patrol program. I mean, are we going to get reimbursed for this?
We've
Absolutely.
been getting reimbursed for it ever since that program's been in place. Yes.
When was the agreement effective?
Well, this is for next year's.
3rd year, 2 years.
Yeah. Well, we started it immediately following the Uvalde shootings, and then the following year, we started it as for a full year, and we've always been reimbursed all of our expenses.
You're moving to electronic signatures on everything? That's number 12, agenda item 12.
We already have electronic signatures.
It says, it's not how I read it.
We have a new comptroller, so we have to add them to the we put them all on there as electronic.
And you as well.
Correct.
Okay. And then, let's see, number 13, approve Springboard software training. What's the budget line on that? For the training on item number 13?
What are you referring to? Budget line?
The Springbrook.
$4,000 for training? That's
Yeah.
$4,000 for the,
Well, he's asking what the budget line.
oh, what the budget line is?
Should be.
Yeah, it should be out there.
We can get back to you with that.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Appropriate time for me to speak or?
It's
on some.
It's about the clock, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
no apologies. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with your protocols, so
By all means.
anyhow, I thank you guys for hearing me tonight, and ladies, I'm sorry. My name is Terry Manning. I'm chairman of the Bridgeport Lakeport Civic Organization. I'm here along with Kerry Ranger from the town of Sullivan. I want to talk to you guys about the clock in Bridgeport and why it's important. It's old. It's like 22 years old. It dates back to the time of Bragman and McGee, another area or another era in our local history. It's a focal point in the community, and it symbolizes the cooperation and the partnership of a community that has a split personality. We're in the town of Cicero, we're in the town of Sullivan. We're in Onondaga County, we're in Madison County. I mean, that in and of itself creates some unique challenges to doing things in the community. Our organization is one of those organizations that tries to literally bridge the gap, if you will. Okay, not trying to be funny. And Bridgeport is the gateway to Onondaga County and a lot of good things that are happening over here. Our current clock is broken. It's been repaired more times than I can think of. And it's literally held together with stovepipe and bands, okay? To change the time currently, either myself or another gentleman in the community, Bill Pindle, we have to climb over the rails of the bridge, hang on for dear life, take the stovepipe off to give ourselves access to the controls to either advance it or stop the clock to change the time. It's been repaired so many times I can't even think about it. Proposed solution is it's time to replace it. There are about 4 different manufacturers of clocks made in the US. We wanted a product made in the US. There's Verdon, who is our current supplier, Tower Clocks, Lumicron, and AmeriClock. AmeriClock actually said, this isn't our thing. We suggest you talk to Lumicron. One of the challenges we've got a very small footprint on the bridge that we need to accommodate. And the E. Howard clock from Lumicron fits that bill. Total cost going in is under $14,000. The town of Sullivan allocated $7,000 based on a cost sharing basis with the town of Cicero. We think we can probably do better than the $14,000 or the $7,000, but we need a blessing to go forward and work with the suppliers to make it happen. So that's where we are. And I appreciate your support, and I look forward to continuing the partnership between the town of Sullivan and town of Cicero. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. For Terry. Okay, anyone else? Go ahead, Kerry. Come on up.
Quick, comment with regard to, if the town of Cicero, goes forward after their public hearing and, sets a moratorium on the, battery storage systems. The town of Sullivan has already established a, moratorium, and I was just gonna let you know that if you do go forward, that whatever information we've already gathered, we happily will provide for you guys, just so you don't have to, and,
Reinvent the wheel.
yeah.
Yep.
And save a little bit of time if we've done something that he could use. So if you do go forward and contact me, and I'll make sure to push that information.
Why don't you send it over? Just send
Yeah,
it over.
thank you.
We'll send it out to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Anyone else? Come on up, Jay.
Okay. Jay Reardon, you all know me, 8763 Brewerton Road, which I'm moving out of, trying to shut off the national grid tomorrow and finding a new place here. But I'm still a stakeholder. So Mr. Manning's comments about the clock in Bridgeport are important in a way that it reflects community pride. And I spoke here before you previously wearing a Fairport hat and a Fairport t-shirt because you couldn't get these things in Cicero that when they don't have to do with the schools. And having a structure that's iconic is important. It attracts all sorts of media attention. It attracts social media attention, and I hope you go forward with that regardless of anything else. I'm mostly here to talk about item number 15, which is your discussion on recognizing May as ALS Awareness Month. There are people in this community who have neurological and motor degenerative disorders. They should be encouraged to participate to the full extent that they can in this community. And they have value to add to this community. By recognizing May as ALS Awareness Month, even though this is one of many neurological and motor degenerative disorders that people have, you will be recognizing that people in this community have value to add and welcoming them further into the community. So I hope fully that you support this and further support residents who have neurological and motor degenerative disorders. To the substantive issues, number 5 and number 6, this will be my last comment. You're setting a public hearing for these two items. It would be helpful to have in the public hearing announcement, have it sent out by all means possible, including email, to the town email list, including social media via Nextdoor, Facebook, all those things. Nobody is quite sure from the announcement here that you're setting a public hearing in number 5, what the significance of a battery and energy storage system is. It would be helpful if you could have 1 or 2 explanatory sentences in that announcement about what the issue actually is. A more substantial issue, by contrast, would be where will the concrete batch plants go? Okay, you're going to need concrete batch plants for Micron. They're going to have to go somewhere. They might go at Fly Road and Taft Road. They might go in Clay. This is a significant issue about where the concrete batch plants will go. And I hope that you would put this public hearing announcement forth with the same information that you would with regard to the concrete batch plant issue. A similar aspect arises with number 6, which are the zoning changes. Oftentimes, and this happened with the short-term rental issue, oftentimes changes to Chapter 210 are significant and have a significant impact on a number of stakeholders within the town of Cicero. And I hope that further explanatory information can be provided to the community for that item, especially so number 5 and number 6. Just want to add that I think you all deserve a pay raise because everybody here on the town board has to deal now with the Micron project and an issue of significance that is much larger than you might have signed up for. Certainly much larger than I thought I was going to sign up for. So to have honestly, Mr. Aragano, to have a town supervisor who makes shy of $70,000 and to have town councilors who make shy of $12,000 a year is not sufficient going forward. And I hope that people realize that this is not a partisan issue, but this is just a work scale issue. And I would fully support a doubling of everybody's salary on this town board going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Anyone else? Okay, with that being said, Counselor Hogan, number 3.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve abstract number 18 dated 5/1/2024 and abstract number 19 dated 5/8/2024.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the budget modifications as presented.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption resolution to set a public hearing for May 22nd, 2024 at 6:30 PM to consider moratorium on the construction of certain types of battery energy storage systems.
Second.
Discussion.
So the battery issue is one that's rising in a lot of towns. These storage systems can be anything from something that's suitable to service a 1 or 2 family residence up to very large systems of very large lithium-ion batteries that can store a very large amount of energy. There have been concerns raised about the fact that they can leach toxic chemicals if they catch on fire. I think most of us are aware that lithium-ion batteries, which are the most popular technology for this, do present a fire hazard, an explosion hazard. That's why, for example, they're not supposed to be in your carry-on baggage on airplanes. That's why you see hazardous material warnings on them when you get something with lithium-ion batteries shipped to you from Amazon. So the moratorium, which I've drafted most of, but it's not 100% complete, does break them down into 3 tiers. NYSERDA's model law is 2. But tier 1 are storage systems suitable for single or family residence or 2 family residents. My proposal to the board is not to include those in the moratorium. Tesla makes one called a Powerwall. There are other similar ones. I don't know that it's necessary to put a moratorium on those because typically they would already require a building permit and an electrical inspection. What we're really more concerned about is the larger ones, the tier 2 and tier 3. So my intent, again, obviously subject to the board, is to put a moratorium on the larger ones while we work on a comprehensive statute regulating their placement.
Anyone else? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
And move the adoption resolution to set a public hearing on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024 at 6:30 PM to consider changes to chapter 210 of the town code relating to zoning enforcement.
Second.
Discussion.
So what I've been discussing with the town board and the supervisor, and these are relatively minor changes, is I think we all know that the policy of the town when it comes to code enforcement is really that we're primarily looking for compliance, education, not to be punitive. The vast overwhelming majority of our town residents are people who want to comply with our zoning regulations and our town code, people who are acting in good faith, and when they get cited for something, make a good faith effort to correct it. There's a very small percentage of residents, and maybe some of us are familiar with the properties that I might be thinking of, that flout the law, do so for years, and present a problem. So what my desire and intent is, and I've discussed with the rest of the board, and I think we're all interested in this, is basically creating a bigger gap between the penalties that are available for a first offense and we already have escalated penalties, and penalties are available for a second and third offense, so that people who are making good faith effort to comply aren't necessarily getting hammered. Not that they are, but we don't want them to be at risk of that. And people who are knowingly thumbing their nose at the law, flouting the law, being recalcitrant, feel the full weight of what the town can do to enforce its zoning regulations. People should not be able to create hazardous, dangerous, unsightly conditions with impunity. And we do not want to continue that to happen in this town. I mean, it shouldn't happen anyway, but with what we've got coming and a lot of the opportunities that we have coming to this town, it's not something that can be tolerated any longer. So that's what this is about. I do not foresee any major changes. And again, we have no desire to see people who, if it's their first offense and they're genuinely trying to comply, we have no desire to see them get hit. But the people who, and again, I think all of us that are regulars here know some of the ones I might be talking about, they need to be dealt with appropriately.
Anyone else? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. They move the adoption resolution, town board approved purchase of 4 battery powered traffic calming signs from Traffic Safety Incorporated, $9,980. Budget code B312049005012.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed. With the adoption of the town board of approved purchase of 2 traffic calming signs supporting equipment by Elon City for $6,850. Budget code B 312049005012.
Second.
Discussion.
I guess I'll ask what I think is the obvious question. So we're buying 6 signs, 4 from one manufacturer and 2 from another. Why are we not buying all 6 from the same manufacturer?
The chief requested to buy the 4 he is currently using for taking down off of different sites. and
Okay.
putting them throughout the town when folks need them.
Mobile ones, okay.
These are permanent ones, which
Okay.
one will be put in Bridgeport, in the Hamlet of Bridgeport, and the Hamlet of Brewerton.
Okay, so these are for permanent. Okay,
Correct.
that makes sense.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it. Yep, move for the adoption resolution, town board approve these.
But we gotta vote on that one. You gotta vote on that
No,
one.
glad discussion. Anybody else? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No abstain, passed. Move the adoption resolution, approve the agreement between the town of Cicero and North Syracuse Central School District Special Patrol Officer Program 2025, and authorize the supervisor to execute the agreement.
Second.
Discussion.
I think this has been a great program. It's been great for the students of the district. I think it's been great for the town, great for the police department. I'm very happy and proud to have been involved in its implementation. The reception's been fantastic, I think. It's been great. The feedback has been universally positive from parents, from teachers, and from students. Like I said, very proud to have been involved with putting this program together. The chief also deserves an enormous amount of credit. He's not here right now, and I'm glad we're going to be continuing with it.
I would like to say and second that, having kids who attend school in this district, there's an overall sigh of relief knowing that they're on site. So it's overall much, much better and very well received among the parents.
Great. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, or abstain, passed.
Move to adopt a resolution to hire the following temporary part-time employees to support the Parks and Rec Department summer activities as follows. Beach recreation attendance start date on or about May 16th. Forgive me if I mess up any of these names. Jesse Solier, $16 per hour. Taylor Rudder, $16 per hour. Connor Benarski, $16 per hour. Emily Solier, $17 per hour, will work in multiple positions. Park laborers start date on or about May 16th. Colin DeBajan, $16.50 per hour. Kyle DeBajan, $15.50 per hour. Joseph Salvador, $16 per hour. Day camp recreation attendance start date on or about June 15th. Emily Solier, $16.25 per hour. Anna Aiello, $16.25 per hour. Gianna Chermonti, $17.75 per hour. Sabrina Klebine, $16.25 per hour. Julia Donovan, $15.75 per hour. Alicia Kelly, $16.25 per hour. Jordan Maldonado, $19.25 per hour. Zach Merchant, $17.75 per hour. Gianna Richard, $15.75 per hour. Jacob Schmid, $16.25 per hour. Colin Smith, $15.75 per hour. Grace Thompson, $16.25 per hour. Extended care recreation attendance, start date on or about July 1st, 2024. Emily Solier, $18 per hour. Sabrina Klebine, $17 per hour. Gianna Chermonti, $17 per hour.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
What,
Aye. Oh,
I just think that like, maybe if you could just briefly mention why you came up with these dollar amounts for each person, why the range?
A lot of them are returning staff, and if they were in the same position, we're given a 50-cent raise. The discrepancy or like difference between some of the same positions is based on years of experience, but also their seniority. For example, the day camp, within that group, there's the camp director, and then there's 4 leaders, and then there's the attendants. So we didn't go into that much detail for this, but we do have all that information. So if there's anything specific that you want to know, let me know. But for a lot of them, it was 50 cents a raise from last year, or if they're starting, it was starting at $15.50 or $16 an hour.
Okay.
Are
Thank
the-
you.
And all these fees are covered by the cost incurred, right?
Yeah, yep. There's a budget that we have for specifically day camp for most of these. And that's covered by the camp registration fees. Yep.
And the beach recreation attendance actually for the splash pad?
But for the splash pad, but for
Yeah.
William Park
In
in
general.
general, for
Okay.
the, pavilion reservations and for the splash pad playground and concerts and things that are held at specifically at William Park.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Now, the returning employees, do they have to re-interview for their position, or is it an automatic and they are welcome to come back the following year?
Kind of a combination. They are, they don't necessarily have to re-interview, but they have to be invited back. So at the end of the summer, they're given an evaluation and they find out whether we wish to invite them back the following year. And then we reach out to them in February and say, we hope you'll return, will you? And that's how it goes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
What else? All in favor?
Aye.
No, or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to purchase a 2024 7x14 double axle enclosed trailer for CNY from CNY Auto Hub in the amount of $6,795 ARPA funds. The other two quotes were from Patriot Trailer Solutions in the amount of $7,690 and the Trailer Store in the amount of $7,841.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah,
This-
Teresa, can you just, oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I'll give it to you. This is for the spray machine that we have for their equipment. If you go over to the park over there, their equipment's hanging out around on the floor and it'll secure it better and they can just take and go on demand. And we're able to get just a side note on this, we were able to get all the parks sprayed the other day, except for Central. It's still too wet. And as soon as Central gets better, we will spray that field as well. Anything else, Mike? No. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no, or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to hire the following temporary part-time employees as laborer one to support the highway department's summer activities as follows. David Nagel, $16.50 per hour, approximate start date on or about May 20th, 2024, and Joshua Brazel at $16.50 per hour, approximate start date on or about June 20th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
No, or abstain, passed.
Approve the fireworks for Cicero Plank Road Chamber of Commerce. Move the adoption of resolution. The town board approves and authorizes the supervisor to execute the fireworks permit from the fireworks display company, American Fireworks Display LLC, to be held at Spinning Wheel 7380, what? Huh?
This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah, it was last year.
Do I start over? All right. I'll just read the last part again. Fireworks permit for the fireworks display company, American Fireworks Display LLC, to be held at the Spinning Wheel, 7384 Thompson Road, North Syracuse, New York, on June 8th, 2024, at dark, and to accept the $100 permit fee, sponsored by Cicero Plank Road Chamber of Commerce. All required signatures have been obtained.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no, or abstain, passed.
They moved it last year.
They did.
Approve the Memorial Day Parade permit. Move the adoption resolution to approve and for the supervisor to execute the town of Cicero parade permit for the James Harvey Spire American Legion Post 787 Memorial Day Parade to be held on Monday, May 27th, 2024 at 11 a.m. The route of procession will start at the Cicero Cemetery on Route 11, proceed south to the American Legion Post on Legionnaire Drive. Also to approve the expenditure in the amount of $500 to help defer the cost of the Memorial Day Parade and ceremonies.
Second.
Discussion.
Since it comes up every year, I'll just ask Mr. Jermaine to confirm that the American Legion is one of those organizations that we are statutorily permitted to give this money to defray this cost, correct? Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe, John, you have the permit application, right? We'll get that afterwards. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Vote no, or abstain, passed.
Move for the adoption of a resolution to authorize electronic signatures of the town supervisor and town comptroller or deputy comptroller for any and all disbursements.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no, or abstain, passed.
Move the adoption resolution to approve an expenditure of $4,000 to Springbrook for accounting software training for the new comptroller.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Which vote no, or abstain, passed.
Approve replacement clock in Bridgeport. Move for the adoption to approve the following resolution. Whereas the town of Sullivan and the town of Cicero share a unique relationship, both being stakeholders in the hamlet of Bridgeport. And whereas there exists a need to replace the clock on the bridge that serves as a symbol of unity between our communities. And whereas the cost of the replacement clock, not including freight, amounts to $13,250. And whereas both the town of Cicero and the town of Sullivan recognize the importance of sharing the financial responsibility for this replacement clock. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Cicero and the town of Sullivan hereby agree to share the cost of the replacement clock, with each town contributing no more than $7,000 towards the total cost. The replacement clock shall be of E. Howard style, standing at 11 feet 7 inches tall. The installation of the replacement clock shall be carried out by a licensed electrician at no additional cost to either town. And the addition of the new clock will complement the banners that are scheduled to be installed over the next few weeks, further enhancing the aesthetic appeal of the bridge in the hamlet of Brewerton.
ARPA funds will be used.
And this will be paid for with our ARPA funds.
Discussion.
Question, has this already went through planning board? Which clock has been chosen?
No, this is,
Just allowing them to go
this is a
forward.
replacement clock that's already there.
So it's gonna be the same one?
Oh.
There's not like a different
There's,
aesthetic?
Similar.
there's, here. There's a bunch of stuff that I emailed everybody, the board. It's an email, but if you want to see it, I can get it to you afterwards.
That's okay. I just want to make sure that someone's taking a look at it before it gets put up and we pay for it. That's all.
There now. That will replace it.
Okay.
One of the primary issues that we had to concern ourselves with was the footprint of the base,
Yeah.
because of the limited area that we've got that's already there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote no or abstain, passed.
I'll second it.
Second, thank you, John. Counselor Carp, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody wish to abstain or vote no? Passed. Might be, Counselor McCullough, before you recognize the ALS Awareness Month, I want to bring up an issue that came up about 2 meetings ago with the land trust agreement. Robert, do you want to comment on that and put note on that, the legalities of that?
Absolutely. So we were asked to, the town of Cicero, we take issues very seriously in terms of what I call the gifts and loans clause. So the New York State Constitution generally stands for the proposition and section, Article 8, Section 1 of the Constitution stands for the proposition that towns and villages, municipalities are prohibited from doing work on private property to benefit private owners. Similarly, in the highway law, I think it's Section 140 of the highway law, there's also provisions that on the same idea that town equipment and personnel should be prohibited from benefiting private owners. I guess there was a question about the land trust with the walking trails. So when you first contacted me, when the town first contacted me about that, the first question we ask is a threshold question in these issues is, what's the purpose, right? And because it has to be a public purpose. And I think you responded that walking trails for the public is a public purpose, right? So that's the first threshold question. The second part is under town law section 64, towns and villages are also allowed to lease property and enter into leases. So the first thing we did was we looked at the lease and actually obtained an opinion from the Association of Towns on point, but we looked at the lease and the lease called for the town to rent for $1. But also as part of that consideration, we're going to maintain the trails for the public use and improve some of them. That's absolutely permissible. It's permissible under the law. It's permissible under the case law. And what the case law stands for, the proposition that it's not improper to use public services to benefit the public and so on private property, as long as it benefits a public purpose and is usually pursuant to a contract or a lease or purchase of the property. So those are all, there's a completely legitimate use of the town funds and the town's ability. There's a million cases on point. There's a million opinions on point. I've got them there. I supplied them to you too. The town's got them. So it was absolutely correct and legal for the town to do. Threshold question, and these are important issues because it comes up a lot with the gifts and loans clause. So we try to be on the right side of that all the time. But the important things to understand are, first of all, is there a public purpose? Walking trails for the public. And any incidental benefit, by the way, a lot of the cases and opinions say that any incidental benefit to a landowner, like, you're cutting the trails and you're making them better, is permissible. So it's 100% defendable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, we're all set with that? Took a half a day? You good to go? Thanks. Okay. Mike, go ahead.
I'll read the proclamation. Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive fatal neurodegenerative disease in which a person's brain loses connection with the muscles, slowly taking away their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And whereas every 90 minutes, someone is diagnosed with ALS and someone passes away from ALS. And whereas on average, patients diagnosed with ALS only survive 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis. And whereas ALS has no cure, and whereas people who have served in the military and are more likely to develop ALS and die from the disease from those who have no history of military service. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is vital importance to people living with ALS. And whereas clinical trials play a pivotal role in evaluating new treatments, enhancing quality of life, and fostering assistive technologies for those living with ALS. And whereas we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge through a renewed commitment to galvanize public awareness and support funding leading to significant investments in ALS research. And whereas the ALS Association, as the largest philanthropic funder of ALS research globally, has committed over $154 million to support more than 550 projects across the United States and 18 other countries. And whereas our commitment to accelerating the pace of discovery remains unwavering, fueled by the hope that one day ALS will be a livable disease for everyone, everywhere, until we can cure it. Whereas ALS Awareness Month increases the public's awareness of people with ALS dire circumstances and acknowledges the terrible impact this disease has, not only on the person, but his or her family and the community, and recognizes the research being done to eradicate this disease. Now, therefore, we, the Cicero Town Board of the Town of Cicero, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as ALS Awareness Month. I call upon all Americans to join in supporting ALS research, advocating for increased funding, and standing in solidarity with those affected by this relentless disease proclaimed on this 8th day of May 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else have any other?
I did just want to address another item.
But
Yesterday, there was a meeting for the New York Forward Grant program. The meeting was held in mid-afternoon, not exactly the greatest time for the general public to attend said public meeting. I just, again, showed up to the meeting, tried to bring that to light to the members of the committee. And again, I stand by that statement. These meetings coming up, especially the meetings of the committee, that's where the majority of the plans, majority of the individuals, businesses that are going to be chosen will be picked during those committee meetings, not the big events. If we don't have true public discourse, true public meetings where the residents of our community don't have the ability to view their local government, view committees. It's something that it scares me. Everyone knows in this room, it's the public input and public participation has been something that I hold very, very dire, right? And when a committee holds a meeting in the middle of the day, and again, I don't know if the people on the committee are going to be applying for said grant. It's worrisome to me that meeting was held in the middle of the day, so the general public didn't have the opportunity to attend. And again, don't want to make a real big thing about it, but according to New York State open meetings law, it's transparency and the public having the ability to check a committee, check a local government, a subcommittee. It's key to our governmental process. And, again, I will make the statement to that committee, and we do have a committee member here in this room this evening. I implore you to make sure these meetings are during a time that is available to the public to attend. We don't hold these town board meetings at 9 a.m. because of the convenience of the town board members. We hold them at 6:30 p.m. for the convenience of the residents of this community. So that's what I mainly wanted to say. If everybody else wanted to jump in, make a discussion of it, feel free.
Yeah.
That's
Let me just give everybody an overview about how this committee was chosen and how it works, so everybody can understand, and maybe it'll help put a little light on this. So the New York Forward Grant was awarded the $4.5 million to the town. The state comes in and the state says, we want you to select some stakeholders in the community who you think would be beneficial to helping the community grow and helping divert this money to where it should go and how they would like to see it enhance the community. So I believe there's 5 on our side and 5 on the town of Hastings side. Well, those are business owners. They own restaurants, they own garage door places, among other things, some retirees. So make a long story short, those folks, that is the time that they chose to meet. This is a work session that they have and that the public is invited to. So if the public would like to come, the meetings are held, they chose at 1 to 3. I did ask if they would have some night meetings, and they said that they do have some public engagements in meetings that would be coming up in the evening. And they also stated that they will also have representatives at any festivals that we have in the town up in Brewerton or Hastings to discuss the information and how it's coming.
okay. I'm actually glad you mentioned the town board meetings, 9 o'clock AM thing, because when I first got on the board, the organizational meeting every year was at 9 or 10 in the morning. And we started having it at the regular meeting time specifically so the public could attend and participate. My position has always been that public meetings should be held at a time and at a location calculated reasonably to ensure public access. It's one of the reasons why I have opposed moving these meetings earlier to 6 o'clock, which is even more squarely in the middle of dinner time, particularly difficult for those of us with young children. And I don't like the fact that our public engagement sessions for the comprehensive plan have been at 6 o'clock PM for that reason. If you don't have young kids or you don't have kids, that's great. But if you do, or you maybe have kids and you have a spouse that works a little bit later, it becomes difficult. And I think that's a reasonably foreseeable issue. I mean, I might have liked to attend this. In fact, I probably would have, but it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I run a business, a family business. To me, the argument that it's better in the middle of the day for business owners seems kind of counterintuitive. But in any case, same thing I've always said. I think meetings should be held as much as possible in a time and at a location that will maximize public participation. To simply say that a meeting is open to the public, you could put it at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, but it's open to the public. That obviously it seems kind of disingenuous. I'm not saying 1 o'clock in the afternoon is the same, but I mean, the fact that it's open to the public doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy or convenient for the public to participate. So I'm not aware of the process of how the time or location was chosen. It's just difficult to participate if it's in the middle of your workday.
And I also think that what you guys are saying is it's setting a precedence. It's, you can say that it's open to the public, but is it really open to the public if they're not making it public time? So I agree with that. I also think that I come from a business background. I would have liked to have attended. And I would like to understand better how these are decided and where that money goes. And I would like to get a better understanding and be able to attend these meetings. I also think that the advertising of the meetings, if anything is open to the public, it should be advertised better as well. So
That
multiple
was sent-
ways.
That was sent on our email. That was sent on our Facebook page.
So if you're looking for it,
So
if you're
if-
checking it regularly, which I don't think anyone is,
So
I
we're
do
also-
think, so if I could just finish.
Sure.
So I do think that a lot of it is setting a precedent. So one could argue, well, we set these at 6:30 and, we don't have a huge full house, but a lot of it is setting a precedence. And I stand strong on supporting that we want to hear from the public and we want to encourage more people to have a voice and to have a say and to hear how things are being done. So a lot of it is setting a precedence and saying, it's welcome to the public. We're going to advertise this multiple ways because we really do want people at these meetings. That's it.
It's about public trust, right? It's very difficult for people to trust government today when you have meetings that are held during a time when I think it's okay to say 95% of the public cannot attend.
So we can.
People question.
So-
And again, I don't know, again, if the individuals who are on the committee, I don't know if they will be applying for said grant funds as well. I don't know if they are. I have to make sure I'm clear on that. I don't know. If those individuals are applying,
They have
it
to,
could seem, you know what I'm trying to say.
they have to,
right?
they have to recuse themselves, by the way. They do. They have to recuse themselves if they apply for the grant.
I think what he's getting at is you kind of put the meetings in the middle of the day when no one else sees them and then you apply for the grant. I don't know. You want to avoid the appearance of
Okay,
impropriety.
you want to just give a little how the
Hey,
process.
before you say anything, we could talk about process all night long. The fact is, if you're truly holding public meetings, they should be held at a time when the majority of the public can attend them.
Okay.
That's
Well-
all this conversation is.
Oh. I do just want to speak to the recusal and the way the thing opened up and the code of conduct training that everybody on the committee has to take. So everybody has to go through a training thing and sign something that says you no longer represent Cicero, you no longer represent Hastings, you represent the hamlet of Brewerton. You are not representing your business. There are going to be probably several people on the committee that will apply for money and need to be recused. And we asked DOS that. I said, listen, a lot of the people we're thinking of might be the people who will do a business. And they said, that's acceptable because a lot of times the people that are involved and are engaged are the people that you want. So they have a process for recusal. They have a code of conduct. So they opened the meeting and I know you weren't able to come to the beginning because of the timing. But the time was chosen. I mean, when you're dealing with two people from Albany and you're dealing with this spectrum of people. And we thought the time that came up was 1 to 3 and it was said, okay, guys, let's discuss, let's get a better time. Everybody said, this is our best time. I think there's 3 or 4 restaurant owners and that's in between the lunch and dinner shift. So every single person, a woman who has children says it's better for me before my kids come home from school. So they also emphasized how public everything's going to be. They came and said, this is not, the state was saying, this is not our grant. This is for you and for the public. Your job as being on the local planning committee is to be a liaison and to reach out to everybody and communicate everything we're doing. They took down all the websites, all the places where all the postings can be, because we put it on our email blast. It was on Facebook, it was on several things, but again, not everybody will see it depending on what you're looking at. So they are going through the chambers of commerce, the library, as much outreach as you could, with the exception of probably being on TV, and nobody's got the money to probably do it that way. So anyway, I appreciate your concern, but I felt I left that meeting, or before actually I left the meeting thinking, wow, what a great process. The state was so engaged and saying, this is yours, this is open. There were several, it was open to the public. There were probably about 10 people that weren't local planning committee. You know, I'm not on the committee, but I just am there as a staff member. So it was, I think it's going to be, the state makes it be transparent. The state says it has to be
Website,
straight.
There'll be a website as well.
Yeah, and there will be a website and everything will get posted. So anyways, I hope that makes you
I
feel
appreciate it,
okay.
Kate, and I appreciate you explaining about the process.
Okay.
But I will again talk about the time of the meeting. It's not a true public meeting if it is not available to the majority of the public to attend and watch the committee. Everybody talks about yesterday, they all talked about there's going to be big public meetings held, 2 of them. No decisions in the process will be made at any one of those big meetings. The decisions are made at those committee meetings. The public needs to have the ability to be at those public meetings to check and make sure things are being done properly. That's why this meeting exists. the way
They
it
did
does.
clarify that these are committee meetings that are open to the public rather than being a public meeting. So I think just therefore you have to meet when the committee meets or
it's-
start all over,
It's semantics. A public
Okay.
meeting is a public.
well,
The public,
again,
the public has just like yesterday, has the opportunity to speak at the end of that meeting, just like our meeting here tonight.
right.
You can talk about the process, like I said, as much as you want. The fact remains, when you hold a public meeting at a time that is not available to the majority of the public, that's not the essence or the spirit of what open meetings law is. I am done with my comment unless anybody else here wants to say anything, so.
Anybody else, any
Just
discussion?
in terms of planning, it might be nice if we utilize, with our new email system and calendar system, we can integrate a lot of scheduling stuff online to make it easier for the public to be aware instead of just pushing things out via email and
I'll
things like
comment
that.
on that.
So
We're addressing that. We're going to look at a new system, meet with a company here shortly regarding notifications such as text messaging and email blasts out there. So we're going to get with the times and we're going to start notifying and making sure everybody gets notified, especially when the PD can send out something for a traffic issue or something. So we're working on it. Okay, anybody like to speak? Come on up, Jay. Jay, we'll give you 3 minutes.
I just have a follow-up comment. For somebody who might have a social media audience that reaches a few thousand of people who might be interested in the timing of these meetings and might want to delve into what exactly is going on there. Is there a contact that we can have via the town board that would be able to present the town board's perspective on this?
Go again, Jay. I didn't.
Oh,
quite
okay.
get what you said.
Regarding that last item, okay,
Mhm.
it's Kate, who I've talked to before, and Steve, I've talked to them about various issues with the town. But it seems like the town board might have a different perspective. Is there a town board representative available?
I am the representative for the Brewerton Hamlet. Yes, I am on the committee.
And I might be
Sure.
able to contact you via
Sure.
offline means
Sure.
to find out more about this.
Absolutely.
And very good. Thank you.
Jay, there will be a website as well that the state is putting together. Okay. Anybody else? Come on up, Judy.
Good evening, Judy Boyke. I did go to that meeting. It was on TV. It was on the morning news. And I thought it was publicized. I was of the premise that it was a workshop. And all it was informational. introducing people. I knew most of the people on the committee, obviously, because I am from Burton. Your question about being able to vote on or whatever, they will recuse themselves. That was discussed. This is a state project that we're invited to, that we were lucky enough to be part of this grant. Town of Hastings as well is a big part of it. And basically, they were looking at, or they will be looking at, improving the hamlet to encourage boaters, more or less, and others to be able to take an opportunity for the water. I've always had a concern for this because there is not much public land to take advantage of the lake. We all know that. Most of it is private residential property. But to your point, I wasn't even expecting public input because it wasn't informational. And I appreciate the fact that you talk about open government. There's not a good time for everyone to be able to be available. We all know that. I've sat on the board as well as Mr. Karp and Mr. Bacallo because we have family, we have jobs. I have a job. But I just think that this is a state situation, and maybe, Mike, you should contact the folks that were there, in regards.
They wrote me.
I'm sure
They
they
wrote
will,
me, yeah,
but I
yeah.
believe because we as a town were participants. So, but I just wanted to clarify the impression I got as I saw it on the news. And I'm not a big Facebooker, and I'm not on my cell phone or anything. I try to be more personal in everything that I do, so.
No,
but
appreciate
anyway.
your feedback. On the town website, it clearly said it was a meeting open to the public where the public would have comment at the end of that meeting. So
Understand, but maybe that was a misconception. Again, take it for what it is. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mike Boyle, 5984 Hubbard East Trail. I appreciate the input from the attorney this evening. It feels like 2001 all over again. I feel like I'm in the movie Groundhog Day. The reality is that Article 8, Section 1 of the state constitution, I heard the exact same comments from Scott Chatfield in 2001. Now, I respect the Germain Law Firm. They're a very, very good law firm, very, very good lawyers. But I mean, the state controller agreed back in 2001 that the town did the exact same thing. So if we can build trails, and I also heard that the trails from the lease that we're entering into, we're going to maintain them after the lease is over? You didn't say that? Okay. Okay. So Micron should then go to the town of Clay and ask them to develop their property for $1, lease the property to the town of Clay and have them come in and do the work. And at the end, they get it back because it is serving a public good.
But you're not, you must have missed a lot of what he said, because and if you're familiar with this, and if you dealt with it previously, then you would know that the comptroller opinions state that it's permissible when the benefit to the private entity is merely incidental in comparison to the benefit of the public purpose. So if Mike Clay were to develop the property for Micron, that would not be an incidental benefit. So that's not really a
Okay,
good
well,
analogy.
I'm using that as an example.
Well, it's not, right, but I'm
So,
just,
I mean, I had the same issue that back in 2001. They said it serves a public purpose up at the Cicero Commons. So Hevesy they came in and did an audit, and I'm going to ask for an audit on this, just for public opinion. I have no choice but to do that, just like I did back in 2001, but I will. Because I think that if you look at the date of the lease, it was signed by the supervisor on the 13th of March. I don't care that the effective date said the 1st. The CNY Land Trust, by the way, it's on their paper. They signed it first on the 1st but we didn't sign it till the 13th. We had crews on there for 2 weeks helping them. They've got crushed stones right by the fence there that they put in. They were working on site and we didn't have that in place.
That was drainage that they were working on. over
Oh,
there.
there's a fence there. I mean, I even gave you the
It's a
Facebook post from the
yes.
CNY.
But the other stuff that they did over there was do you want to comment on that, David?
Drainage coming off Lakeshore Road that comes between, I don't know the property addresses, but it runs down the overflow parking lot and then leads out into their land. So what we ended up doing was putting a pipe so they can access the land. Right at the opening to the preserve, and there is some run crush, so we had to bury the pipe in something.
Which also serves a purpose for getting water around our property, correct? Thank you.
All right. So then the other question is 1.2 million in cash. They couldn't pay to do this on their own. That's what I gave you the financial statements a month ago. They have 1.2 million in cash, yet we're paying for this. Why?
You know, I'll tell you why. Because over the years, nobody's worked together in this town to get things done. And when I sit up here, I see these things that aren't getting done in the town and I approach them and I see the best way feasible and possible to get things done. Like painting offices here and saving the taxpayers money. Okay? So working to get things done in this town is my priority.
Regardless of whether they had 1.2 million and could pay to have this work done but it's the taxpayers' money. You guys are responsible for the funds of the town.
I understand that, but sometimes you have to work together with folks to get things done so other folks in the town can enjoy it.
Okay, I appreciate your time this evening. But I will file for a second opinion by the state controller's office.
Go ahead,
Can I say
Teresa.
something? I just want to state something about the land trust thing. This whole collaborative issue kind of came about by a group of homeowners that live on Lakeshore that approached the land trust saying, we would like to volunteer our time and efforts, and we want to know if we can work with the town and the land trust to make this a walkable trail. It has been overgrown for years, and it came about from residents asking us to collaborate with the land trust and do it along with them. And they literally, there's 5 or 6 of these people that brought their own equipment, put on their mud boots. They were in there marking trails and trees and things like that. We were kind of like an afterthought helping them. And it is like a win-win situation because it's literally on the border of the property of the park where people come to walk their dogs anyway, and they would love to walk in the woods. So really, this is going to be a huge benefit to the residents in the town. And it's minimal. What we provided there, we had wanted to do that drainage work over the last 2 years. And we were like, oh, this is great. It's going to help the trail. It's also going to help the parking lot. It's going to help with the paving of that parking lot and so forth. So really, I hope you don't see it as an added expense to the residents. It really has been nominal. We haven't put much money or effort into it. The time between the 1st and the 13th that you spoke of, there were only 2 days and probably 2 hours of time during those 2 days where we helped, with providing equipment for them. They purchased the gate. They helped provide staff to put it in as well. It was just us being there with the equipment to support that. It was stuff that we would have probably done anyway. I just see that it's sad that you don't see it as a benefit. It really is going to be an enhancement to the community. We've had so many people reach out to us saying, oh my God, we're so excited that this is going to be a walkable trail.
What is this organization? Central New York Land Bank Trust? What are they? What's the organization called?
CNY.
Yes, CNY Land
So,
Trust.
Mr. Tremaine, do we know, are they a public benefit corporation, not-for-profit corporation? Or which are they? Are they a not-for-profit? Are they a public benefit? Probably not-for-profit. So it's a not-for-profit corporation. They don't, and it's a CNY Land Bank Trust. They don't exist solely to benefit the town of Cicero or the residents of the town of Cicero, correct? And as not-for-profit corporation, there's probably really specific rules about how they're allowed to spend their money, right? And the people that run that organization have a fiduciary duty to make sure those rules are followed, correct? And so that this project, which is or this property and this project that we're here debating and talking about, which I can't believe, but we are here debating and talking about, primarily provides a benefit, not to the CNY Land Bank Trust, but to the town of Cicero, correct? Right? And so it's arguable, in fact, probable that if the entire expense of what we're here talking about, and again, I can't believe that we are, but we are, if the entire expense of this were borne by this not-for-profit corporation, which does not exist to benefit the residents of the town of Cicero, might it not be a breach of fiduciary duty by the people running it, since this obviously has a purpose besides benefiting the town of Cicero? And so as a result, if we want this for the benefit of the residents of the town of Cicero, doesn't it make sense the town of Cicero would bear part of the expense? Does anyone disagree with what I'm saying here, except for the one gentleman in the back? Thank you. Yes, and the comptroller has commented on things like this many times. The fact that you were right 23 years ago doesn't mean you're right today.
Okay, anyone else?
Can I make some announcements?
Teresa, why don't we have Jamie just speak quick and then we'll let you finish up.
Jamie Pardee, 5980 Sneller Road, Georgia, New York. I just want to comment on Mike's comment about the meeting. With the meeting being during the day, like my father who ran a business, who's no longer with us today, but he came to these meetings when he retired. He probably would have came here to these meetings prior to that if they're held during the day. There's people in this community that are very involved in the community. There's also people in this community that work multiple shifts. You mentioned 95% of the people are able to come to the meeting. You know, what about the other 5%? Do they not mean anything in the town? So if we have a meeting during the daytime where maybe 1% of the meetings are during the day, I don't see a problem with that. You know, let it be available to those that can attend.
Anyone else? Okay, go ahead, Teresa, finish up. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to make a couple announcements. This year is the 25th anniversary of the canteen, and we are hosting a anniversary event celebration on June 27th, and would like anyone from the public to come. You'll all be getting invitations. It'll be held at the canteen from 4 to 7 on, again, June 27th. Another date, June 13th, it's a Thursday. We have scheduled to do the grand opening, ribbon cutting of the splash pad and new playground at William Park. And it also will be in conjunction with the start of our summer concert series. There'll be food vendors and giveaways and, you know, ceremony and stuff like that. So hope that you can all attend for that. Another big thing that we're promoting is we started it last year, and this year will be the second year, but it's a community garage sale. So if anyone's interested in having a booth to sell goods at, or just come out and want to purchase goods, it's going to be held on Saturday, July 13th in the parking lot of the CNS High School. And then the last thing, food trucks. We did this a few years ago and it was fairly popular, but we're bringing back having a food truck rodeo during the summer. It's going to start, it's going to be held on Thursday evenings, starting June 13th, again, in the parking lot of the CNS High School, and Thursday nights through mid-August, and there will be 4 or 5 food trucks there. Hope that you'll come out and patronize that. And they're going to kick back part of the proceeds to the canteen. And then also I just want to give a quick update on the pickleball courts that are being installed over at Plank Road Park. We've made great progress on that. They're planning to install the binder on Friday, and then the week of May 20th, put down the asphalt. And then it needs to cure for approximately a month, and then they'll come in and stripe and line the courts. So we're progressing there nicely, and the volleyball court area has completed, and it looks really good. So check that out. Thank you.
When did you say the striping is anticipated for?
Mid-June, like the week of like June 20th.
Okay, so is it reasonable to think that by the beginning of July, they might be ready for use?
Yes, we're hoping it'll be used at some point in July.
Excellent.
Yes, the arrow fence has already come in and put in the corner posts. Yep.
All the drainage was put in.
Yep, drainage has been put in, sub base has been put in.
And again,
It's really good.
let's talk about using our manpower. Our highway department's been up there numerous times, taking all of the dirt out, putting all the stone and drainage in, working together to get things done in this town, and we're achieving goals like no others.
Today, they helped us big time. We went to put in the kayak launch. We put the dock in a week or so ago at William Park. But every winter, we never know what we're going to expect. In the last 2 years, unfortunately, the anchor cement blocks it moved, it shifted. Highway came over and helped our staff pull those in so that we can install the kayak launch. They've helped us tremendously. They moved big boulders for us today as well so that we can we're working on completing the landscaping around the new playground at the park. So they've been helping us tremendously, and I really, really thank the
And
Highway
again,
Department for working with
David,
us.
you tell the guys and the gentlemen up there, again, thank you very much for everything they do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really appreciate the highway department helping out with all these things from drainage, these park projects. We, the people really are benefiting from it, and we're very happy to see it.
Hey, and the brushes, and the brush.
Well, yeah, I said brush. Yeah, the brush has been,
Just say
yeah, the
brush.
brush has been huge. I had nothing but positive feedback on all of that, really.
Been negative. We've been negative.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
Nope.
Okay, we'll be going into executive session for move for the adoption resolution, enter an executive session related to medical and financial or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matter leading to appointment, employee promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal or a particular person or corporation.
Well, this also involves proposed pending or current litigation, correct?
Proposed pending.
Yeah, so if we could have Mr. Procopio join us for the first part of it, we'll handle that first, and
Sure.
then we can excuse him and deal with the rest of
Okay,
it.
you got it. You
All
got it. I'm sorry, I did not see that.
And to obtain legal advice related to all of that, actually.
Okay. You want to invite, our attorney and.
So yeah, with
Please.
definitely.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
7:41, Tracy.
Session made by me at 8:20, seconded by Councilor Marizio.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to close the meeting?
Well, hold on, we got to resume regular session. Motion to resume regular session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.